Hello. I want to make a video with the title Reflections on Metaphysics. So, metaphysics is the theme that fascinates me the most of all. Metaphysics makes me happy. And I just love watching all kinds of parapsychological films. Not the conspiracy types, not the flashy ones, not the fake ones, but the real serious ones, the ones that get into the science of it. You know, I love to hear from Dr. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Hindert Emmerich, Dr. Vilayano Ramachandran. Those are real scientists, and they get into it from the scientific angle, from the very meticulous, very austere type of vision, okay, but exploring into it with an open mind. And that's fantastic. I just love it. Totally love it. Smells good. I love it. Love the way this feels. It's amazing. So gorgeous. Frogs, come back. I haven't heard the frogs lately. Makes me worried. Frogs, come back. And owls, come back. I need to hear the owl at night. Very important. Maybe those are the frogs? I hear something faintly. Maybe that's the frogs. I hope so. And I love to hear the owl. However far away, I hear the hooting of the owl. Hoo hoo. Hoo hoo. It's very nice. One time we went hiking in LA and somewhere in Brentwood, and an owl was following us. That was the cutest thing in the world. We were hiking with our dogs, and there was an owl who would follow us from one electric power line post to the next, all the way down for miles. And I would talk to her. I would say, "Hoo hoo, how are you?" And the owl would look at us and say, "Hoo hoo." Very, very cute, very intelligent birds. It's lovely, it's lovely when you go into nature and when you feel the entire matrix of life around you, and you bring humor into it. The animals really love that, when you bring humor into it. When the animal is relaxed, they have a lot of humor. It's true. Not crude humor or humor in terms of telling jokes or pranks. No. What I mean by humor, real humor. Real humor is when you communicate with an animal in a loving, playful way. And when the animal responds to that. Just like a dog who will be excited by you dancing. That's humor. That's also recognizing humor. And that is giving humor back. It is a play of humor interaction. And that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. It's very metaphysical. It's very wonderful. This here is humor, and there are ocean animals right in this area here that look like this, not in pink, but in completely clear like glass. And they feel like this, the same consistency, they just don't flow apart. They stay in their shape. Also in this size, so I've had them in my hand like this. I love them. I am excited about them. I pick them up, I bring them to deeper water so that they don't get stranded and dehydrate, so that they have water on them at all times. All ocean animals need ocean water on their skin at all times, at almost all times. So the majority of the time, depending on the animal. Seals will come and sleep a little bit outside of the water, but then they have to go back into the water, and those here, they have to be in the water all the time. Very important. There's so much going on in the world that is extremely wild and extremely metaphysical and shocking in a good way. There are amazing things that are going on. Like that guy who had a brain injury, and suddenly he sees everything in fractal geometry. Every hand movement like this, he can actually see the traces of the movement as if drawn by computer imagery. So amazing. Amazing. It is amazing. It's amazing what kind of niches we have in the brain, what kind of areas in the brain that are not used, that are suddenly, when they're suddenly used, because the brain is rerouting into other areas in order to compensate. That's what the brain does. The brain's very flexible in that way. So that's what happened to him. The brain rerouted, away from the injured area to an area that was not used before, and suddenly he's a math genius. It's amazing. Those are called acquired savants, and then there are other savants that are savant from birth, and like that one guy from England, and he sees, he has synesthesia, and he sees numbers as shapes like this. Numbers as shapes and colors. That's also incredible. And he can calculate indefinitely the number pi, calculate that and they followed him with calculators and confirmed it. I mean, where is that potential coming from? Or people that are suddenly able to tell you what day of the week you were born just by giving him your birth date. Where's that potential coming from? This is metaphysical. This is very, very unexplained territory. That is really, really shocking. And that's real science. That's really happening. Those are not fabricated stories. You know, people, they don't need to fabricate any more shocking stories on top of that what we already have. There are already, in actuality, such incredible metaphysical and occult things that are happening. Obscure things and unexplained things that are going on all the way around us. There are indefinitely many dimensions in and around us. It's happening all the time, but people don't see it because we have evolved in a specific way so that we don't get distracted by the dimensions that are in and around us. So that we can really discern this one dimension, the 3D, that we are living in and that we have to survive in. So for that matter, the brain screens out the other dimensions through the so-called discrimination ribbon. And there is a scientist who has discovered this, Dr. Hindert Emrich from Germany, and his clients have taught him that with their brains, because they have experimented too much with hallucinogenic drugs, and because of that they damaged the discrimination ribbon. Some of them damaged it permanently. They can't function in life anymore because of that. But they see all kinds of things like those disco ball lights. This is a LED light that is moving, but they see those kind of things actually without the LED light on. They see those kind of, other shapes and things and energies all around us. They see that. They see it all the time, and because of that, it's just flooding their brain, all of this stuff. And because of that, they can't even function really anymore in life. Maybe it's pretty and it is exciting, and maybe some of them become artists and all of this. But it is so overwhelming for them that they can't function anymore in the 3D, really. So some of them are permanently in the psychiatric hospital, and I don't recommend to people to go that route. So I really don't recommend it. Hallucinogenic drugs, they can be useful for someone who is terminally ill and who is afraid of dying. For those people, it can bring closer to them the other dimensions and the reality of there's nothing to be afraid of. So that's what those experiences can bring to people when they're already, in a hospital setting and protected and all of this. But someone who is young, who just started out on his life's journey or her life's journey, I do not recommend taking hallucinogenic drugs to you guys. I really don't. It's not a good idea. So you'll end up on SSI. You'll end up You might even end up in the hospital, in the psychiatric ward for good. Or what's even worse is people end up on the street homeless, not taken care of at all. And they still can't take care of themselves. That's the worst thing there is. And I've seen these people. It makes me cry. It's awful. When the brain doesn't function, and almost everyone, I'll bet you $1,000 that almost every one of those homeless people has experimented with hallucinogenic drugs at some point in their lives. And most of them are in their 60s. I know some of these people personally. I've met them, I've talked to them. They have admitted to me that they have done it excessively, and that's why they can't function at all. They do incredibly many irrational things. So many irrational things that they can't. Their lives are falling apart because of all these irrational behaviors. Among those are hoarding things in storage rooms, not even seeing the furniture anymore, but I kept my furniture, but I can't use it. It's getting ruined, but here, I kept it. And I spent $2,000 on keeping my rotten furniture. That's what's going through their minds. They kept the furniture, even if they, in quotation marks. That's how irrational the minds are. There's no more logic happening. I don't recommend to people go that route. Don't do it. Don't do that to yourselves, because not only you but others, your children, your animals, your family will suffer from that as well. Don't do it. Don't go that direction. Go away from all substances. Substances are not going to help you at all. It's not going to help you. The key is to meditate. When pain comes up, meditate on it. And you can cry. And your body's natural chemistry will take care of the pain and all of this. Through the tears, through the release of certain type of endorphins, certain type of things like serotonin, melatonin, and other hormones and neurotransmitters that the body itself releases. There are amazing things the body releases. Oh, you will be amazed. I cried earlier, and after I cried over a dog that I saw on YouTube. She was rescued finally. But when I saw that story and the photos and some film footage of the lady rescuing and petting the dog and the infinite gratitude of that mama dog, oh my gosh. Oh gosh, I cried so deeply. Oh my gosh. Gosh. It's infinite, the sadness of how some dogs have to live before they get rescued, and some don't even get rescued. And that is the saddest thing there is. That's infinitely sad. There's so much coldness in the world, and I wish so deeply that I could help bring a message across to people about the importance of love and compassion. The importance, the infinite importance of being kind to animals and other people. It's infinitely important to be kind and not to be mean and not to be cold, not to be callous, not to be ruthless, not to abandon anyone, any animal or person, animals or persons. Don't abandon animals, children or humans, adult humans. Don't abandon any living beings. For those people who can't take care of a dog, other animal, or child, bring that being, bring that living being, at least bring that living being to a homeless shelter or animal shelter or hospital. At least do this. Drop them off there. Drop them off and give them to a nurse. Say, I can't take care of this being. Then the being at least has a chance. At least has a chance to get adopted again by someone who loves him or her and gives him that protection and the love. So at least give them the chance. Don't abandon an animal in the desert. Okay? Never, ever, ever do that. And when you see an abandoned animal, please bring that animal with you, along with you. Pick that animal up from the street and bring him to safety. Either keep the animal or bring the animal to an animal shelter or give to a kind-hearted friend who wants to take care of the animal. Very important. Here was completely dark, but at least you can see the disco light. That's good. Oh, I saw a bat. A bat flew by the window. Sometimes the bat finds her way into the house, and they usually come in through the garage. If we leave the garage door open, they come in through the garage, and then they fly up on the fleet of stairs, and they come into the house, and then they don't know how to get back out. So they always seem to be flying up. So then what we do is we open the balcony door upstairs here in the upper bedroom, and we open the greenhouse door as well, and then they can escape from through that door. So, and that's what they always do. It's very nice. We have crawl spaces, and the architecture that was not very well planned out. I don't like crawl spaces, and I certainly don't like fiberglass. Fiberglass is very, very bad, very, very, very bad for the lungs, and it's not good for the animals and the people who live in the house. So we have crawl spaces, and there are bats that have their nursery in those crawl spaces, and my husband wanted to seal those because the wind blows the rain into these niches and openings on the side under the roof. And I said, you can't do that because there are babies hanging in there. So now we're trying to figure out a way to make it so that the rain doesn't come in, but so that the mama rats can still go in and out. I mean the mama bats. So they're like flying rats. They're very sweet, very cute, very cute. It's not good for them, the fiberglass in those attic crawl spaces at all. But they go in there because they think that is protection from the elements and from other animals. They don't know better. There are amazing things happening in the world, absolutely amazing. And it's very exciting to talk about that. Very exciting. Exciting material. Really, really cool. Wonderful, wonderful. Maybe I'll turn that light on over here. Go over here. Bring this over there. Okay. Okay. So you can see my putty. It's very nice. Some putty and the disco light too. I am absolutely thrilled and fascinated about metaphysics, and I would love to find people to talk about it. That's my passion. I would love to find people to talk about all these different exciting things that are out there. I'm not into conspiracy stuff. I'm not into necessarily not into the UFO type of thing, and I think a lot of this is just hyped up commercial stuff, to get people to sign up for it and buy books and buy tickets to events and stuff like that. It's a whole commercial business type of thing. And I am into the science part of metaphysics. I really am fascinated about it. Real serious and real honest scientific approaches to it. Not some wishy-washy conspiracy stuff that is fabricated even to get people to vote certain ways and stuff like that by the oil industry. No, I'm interested in real science and in the paranormal, parapsychology, metaphysics, fractal geometry. I am absolutely fascinated about it. That guy that had the head injury and is now a math genius. This is so incredibly fascinating. It's fascinating beyond imagination. It is so fascinating. Life can be exciting. Life can be wonderful and exciting if we make it wonderful and exciting. If we explore into the unknown, if we meditate, and if we calm our minds down so that our brains. Yes. Okay. Yes, the papa dog is there. He's sleeping. It is exciting to explore into those fields. Really, really exciting. And that's what life should be about. That's what life is about. And that's what we can make life about. We don't have to stay in a bleak situation just because we've been put into a bleak situation. So a lot of people have it very bleak, but you don't have to be in that situation. You can meditate, and you can meditate yourself out of that bleak situation. It's possible. It is possible. You can do it. It's true. It's true. You have to do something that is funny. You have to laugh about yourself. Make something that is funny and that makes you laugh about yourself in a good way. Not in a hostile way, but you know, in a good way. Use some language that is playful and fun. Create something with materials. Not to create something that's perfect and accepted by others. No. Something that's fun. Something that's playful, like that Owen Cook. He understands that. He totally understands, totally gets it. You gotta be swinging with this. You gotta be swinging and surfing and flowing with the now moment. And that means you don't take yourself seriously. That means his area is to teach people how to approach girls, men. He teaches men how to approach girls. And the way he does it is so, without fear, without what is she gonna say if I say this, or forget about all of this. Just go and say, hey, I like you, or hey, here I got something for you, a flower or whatever, start a conversation with playfulness. And if she doesn't want to go, you say, have a nice day, sweetie, I'll leave you alone, or bother someone else, but do it in a playful way, approach people and let them go if they don't want to. Respect people. And what I really like about Owen Cookie, when he sees the couple sitting somewhere, he says, "Are you a couple? Are you dating?" And when they say yes, he says, "Okay. You have a good evening. You have a nice night. Have fun." And he goes to someone else. And when they shrug their shoulders and they go, "I don't know. We just met." Then he is like, "Okay, that's my chance to flirt with you." So, and he does it in such a playful and wonderful and warm and non-binding way, and that is what people feel good about. They feel relaxed around him because of that. An awesome guy, awesome mind, angel soul. Vin Diesel is another one, very playful, very sweet. I think I have met Vin Diesel one time. It really it and that was before he was famous, and I was still so nervous because I could feel this power. I could feel his power, even though I didn't know who he was, or maybe he was just in the beginning of starting in Hollywood. He has actually written his own scripts for movies, which are great, really great. Very, very sweet. Very loving, very helpful for people to identify themselves with and feel appreciated for whom they are. He's really amazing, amazing person. Angel soul too. So yeah, I think it was him, because long, many years after that, just about, I don't know, 4 years ago or something, or 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. That's when I even paid attention. That's when his person even came to my attention, because I don't watch movies, so certainly certainly not action films. So I'm not into action films. Um, and certainly not into car chasing. I don't like that kind of stuff. I find that extremely boring. So I find that extremely uninteresting. So I don't, I've never understood why people find this interesting, this kind of stuff. But yeah, well, one of those imposters approached me on Facebook a long time ago, an imposter of Vin Diesel, and that's when I saw, he kind of stood out with the photo from all the other people that approached me. And I was like, whoa, oh, wow, oh, that guy? Oh man, yeah, yes to that guy. And then, but it was pretty clear that it was an imposter. He just wanted to get something from me. And he gave me a phone number, and I didn't call that phone number. I said, I don't have a phone anymore. So I said, we can talk on Google Hangouts. So just in case it is him, we can talk on Google Hangout. But then it would show who that is who I'm talking if he was to talk to me in Google Hangout. And so of course he never picked up on that invitation. So, and I never called this number that he gave me. I don't know what that number was about, some kind of scam artist number or something that will hack into my computer and get all of my shopping information. I don't know what it is. But I've been approached by many of Vin Diesel's imposters today again. I got used to it finally. So yeah, today I was approached by one on Twitter. So and the imposter said, "Man, I have so many imposters. That's terrible." I said, "Yeah, it is terrible. It is indeed. It is the human." I said, "It's the human animal. The human animal is a greedy, greedy creature, a greedy being that uses every opportunity he gets. And it is usually men who are doing these kind of things." So, but anyway, a long time ago, it was in Mammoth Lakes Hot Springs over there in California. It was near Mount Whitney, and a lot of people go skiing on Mount Whitney, and then they go to those hot springs afterwards that are just a couple of miles down or up on Highway 395. And Mammoth Lakes Hot Springs, they even have their own geothermal plant over there, and many, many, many wild hot spring pools. And it's a whole area of wild hot spring pools. And so we went to the one pool. I think it's the Cow Meadow pool. I think it was called. And so I got into that pool. There was a real sweet lady, very interesting lady sitting in the pool, and she said she prefers to be alone in the pool, but she talked to me for a while. And then she said, "I'm going to a different pool now because I want to be alone in the pool." I said, "Okay." And so I stayed in that pool. And then a little while later, four young people that were about my age, at that time, we were somewhere, I don't know, 35 or 37, and they were coming towards the pool, and the one guy, the Vin Diesel guy, was smoking. And he introduced himself as being from New York. And I said, I'm sorry, but I can't stand cigarette smoke. Can you turn that off? And he was kind of surprised by that request. Probably never encountered that before. But he said, okay, no problem. And I said, it's real cool, thank you. I really appreciate it. And they got all undressed, and I was completely undressed. I was completely nude in there. I didn't expect this to happen. So they got into this natural wild jacuzzi, and the two of them were a couple, and the Vin Diesel guy was alone. And boy, and that was, oh my gosh, that was so incredibly awkward. And and my husband was with Samantha in the motorhome somewhere farther farther away from the springs, but in visible sight. And I don't know what he was doing. He wasn't paying attention to me. So I was talking to those people, and I didn't know who they were, but I felt extremely intimidated by that Vin Diesel guy. Extremely intimidated. The deep voice and this incredibly gorgeous. I mean, it was getting dark and everything, but I could still see the facial features and that incredibly amazing muscular body. And I was blushing the whole time. And at some point, I couldn't even talk anymore. I was so intimidated. I felt so kind of like afraid of, I felt so afraid of saying the wrong thing or making myself look ridiculous that I couldn't even talk anymore. I had actually had, right in the middle of the sentence, I had a blackout. I didn't even know what I was talking about anymore. That was so incredibly embarrassing and awful. And oh my gosh, all kinds of things were running through my blood. And it was crazy. It was insane. Oh my goodness, it was insane. So finally, Paul hollered over for me to come back, and in a very authoritarian way. And the Vin Diesel guy said, "Oh, is this your boyfriend? Oh, husband? Oh, okay. Wow, okay. Well, too bad you're leaving. Okay, well, I'll see you later, maybe." And I left, and then we drove off. We didn't. We left the entire area, and I felt really bad to have to leave him behind. My God. You don't come across someone like this all the time. Yeah, I mean, this is like a rare gem. My goodness. Oh, God. Extremely rare gem. Physically and mentally. Yeah. And the awkwardness of, like I can't just say, hey, I like you. Let's go out together. Can I just go home with you instead of him? um, I'll take, I'll, I'll take my dog with us. I'll just go get my dog and let's run off. No, I can't do this. It's unethical. That would be unethical to do towards Paul, and it's also extremely awkward and kind of, that would be extremely bold, extremely bold move, like, and it would be misinterpreted as, oh, she must be desperate, or or she's, I don't know, I don't trust her, or maybe she, I don't know what would go through the other person's head. So we have all these inhibitions, we have all these these obstacles. A dog couple, they would get together and they would play with each other and they would walk together and sleep together somewhere. And they wouldn't even hesitate to say, hey, I want to go with you right now. Now is the moment of the dog. Now is the human. Oh, what is he gonna think if I say this? I have to be so careful now. What if I burp accidentally? What if I say something embarrassing? What if I become nervous and then I say something terrible because of the nervousness? And all these things. And what if I want to say this, but I can't say this because then he will think this if I say that. And this is the complicated chaos and the horrificness of being a human. Really, it's terrible. It's unfortunate. Oh yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, and then we get old and all of this, and then no one wants us anyway anymore, and then that train has passed by, and before we know it, we are old and decrepit, and we think about that one chance we had one time when we were young, or the last chance ever, and we blew it with our awkwardness and fear and social fear and all of this. Sometimes it really is better to seize the moment and say, hey, I like you. Can I have your phone number? At least that. Can I have your email address? I really like you. And say it the way it is. And not be afraid. It's better than regretting for the rest of your life. So. And if the other one doesn't want to give you the phone number or gives you a fake phone number, so what? You move on. At least you tried then. Then you can look back on your life and say, hey, I tried. I was bold. I said, can I have your phone number? That's a bold move, and it's good. At least we can do that. I'm a very passive person when it comes to dating. I get very shy and and very kind of withdrawn and very quiet. Yeah, I'm normally a very bubbly person, but when I like a guy, I become very quiet. One time, this one woman, she said to me, there was a guy I liked, and she said, Nicola, you're so quiet suddenly, what's going on? And that was awful embarrassing because I knew that guy would know right away why. And so I said, well, I'm just in a peaceful contemplation, which was a lie. I was quiet because I was shy and intimidated. I've become more honest since then about everything. So if I meet a guy who I like now, today, I would be much more honest about it. But I'm also very attuned to people's body language. If I see someone who's not interested or who acts kind of rude, or you know kind of like he's not that much into flirting or whatever with me in particular, then I right away I don't talk to them. I don't reveal how I feel. So I am not a god. I have my insecurities and all of this. It's all sad. It's all sad material. But I'm very interested in metaphysics. Very, very interested in that. I'm interested in talking to people about it. And also, that's what I wanted to say again. I I noticed that most people and that also makes it, when you really like someone, that makes it extra hard because of this. That people always seem to be interpreting someone else being friendly as wanting something sexual from them. I don't like that at all. That's not good. I don't do that. When someone is friendly to me, I don't immediately size them up and think about what if this, what if that, or is he useful for that, or can I, date him, or how would it be like to hug him, or how would this or that. I don't do that. No, when someone's friendly to me, I don't immediately interpret that as being an approach towards me. Not at all. But I notice that other people, they come to those conclusions very fast. I didn't notice it with women, of course, because I don't I don't meet women who like me in that way. So most women that I meet, they are also they're kind of also very non-sexual, and the ones that are sexual, they like me as a body, and I like them as a body. So because we have something in common, we're sexual and bubbly. So I get along with those the best, but in a non-sexual way, of course. But the men I meet, men usually interpret me as wanting something sexual from them. If I'm just friendly, if I just smile at them or say thank you for recycling this, it's good that you recycle, and they all look at me like, can I use her in that way? Let's see if I can use her. It's like, oh, that turns me completely away. I find that very rude and disrespectful and disappointing. I like people in general who are who don't judge and who don't bully and who don't interpret my actions into some kind of negative thing, or insinuate something into me. So I like people who are free from all of this and who can talk to me as another person, another living being. That's cool. And I like friends mainly. Very rare that I find a man attractive. Very extremely rare. I'm extremely picky with these kind of things. A very, very narrow range of men. They have to look like Vin Diesel or like Matt Damon. I mean, that really narrows it down quite a bit. And it's those that usually, yeah, I would say usually don't go for my haircut and my looks and all of. So yeah, that pretty much completely eliminates that. But that's okay. It's not a big deal. What I really am interested in is interesting conversations, platonic friendships, sweet, kind friends, whom I can talk to. We can lean on each other in an emotional way, in a supportive way, and we can have amazing conversations. And it doesn't have to be because the other one has to match into that. range of attractiveness. So maybe you can just, I recommend that highly to other people too. You know, if you're lonely, yeah, give everyone a chance to be friends with you. You don't have, it doesn't have to be sexual. Give everyone a chance to hang out with you and talk and be having a good time. Go hiking together and make artwork together and have humor together and help animals together and so on. That's what I recommend. I hear people say, "Oh, I'm so lonely," but then they would only hang out with a woman who would who would fit into their range of sexual attractions. So why not give an old woman or old man or dork or whatever or nerdy person? Why not give them a chance to be friends with you, hang out with you if you're lonely? It doesn't have to be sexual, you know, you can just have a good conversation with them. Give that a chance. Give real love. That's what real love is. Real love is give give anyone a chance to be friends with you. Any living being. It's also another thing that people think the only way they can cuddle with another living being is if there's a sexual motive behind it. There is cuddling that is non-sexual too, you know. I cuddle with Dave, my dog Dave, non-sexually. It's a wonderful thing. It's true love. Cuddling non-sexually is true love. I recommend that to other people, but I guess they'll probably never do this because they will always interpret that the other person will interpret it into a sexual motive or something. So it's always uncomfortable because of that. Men would not cuddle with each other or hug each other because it could be interpreted as a man, that man wanting him or the woman wanting him or whatever, you know. So, and then all of that shaming stuff will add into this as well. And it's just a complicated psychological convolution. That's what it is with humans. And it's sad, and it shouldn't have to be that way. When I'm friendly on the internet to someone, when I offer you a heart and a symbol, I mean that in a platonic way. I do not come on to anyone on the internet. I am not that type of person. I'm just way, and even if I like someone that way, you know, I do not do it. It's always meant in a sweet way, in a kind and caring way. There have been men who flirted with me quite heavily, but I didn't flirt back because it's also not my taste range to do this. I'm not into this. If I meet a man and I really fall in love with that man, it is the way I communicate is through kindness, sweetness, compassion, and through having a common interest in something. And this is just how I am. I'm not judging people who are much more um, sensual in their approach with this, but this is just how I deal with people in a sweet way, but intellectual way, and without thinking about dating that person. But if something more, if something closer develops out of it, you know, then that is the right basis but for that physical part also. That's the right basis for it. If it starts as a friendship and then later on can become something like this. But in general, I am not aiming at that with anyone. So, but if it's someone like Vin Diesel or Matt Damon, I would be very shy. I would be very self-conscious the whole time talking to them, particularly in person. But on the internet it's a little easier. I can think about what I write, and but then talking on in video call, that'll be very difficult for me to do. Like any kind of live video calling is very difficult. But maybe I'll transcend that as well and one day be able to do a live tweet discussion, with people. I've been already wanting to do this as a philosophy discussion. I'll be very nervous because then I can't edit what I'm saying. But I'm so extremely interested in metaphysics that if someone would want to have a group discussion like this about metaphysics, I would really love to participate in that. I would probably at least give it a try. If I feel too awkward, then I can always leave the conversation. At least I have that option. I'm not bound there on a stage where I have to perform being someone, or giving a presentation or something. That I could not do at all. I'm not there yet. For a very, very, very long time, I'm not there yet. And probably, maybe never will be there. But at least I can share my thoughts and all of this here in the videos, and that's a wonderful thing for me. That helps me to heal, and also it helps me to focus my mind and to get some kind of cohesive thought process out and create a cohesive thought process construction that I can actually construct and say in the video, and that maybe can be understood or can help someone also. That would be great. So, okay, so I'm wrapping this up now. You guys take care, sleep well.